people were buying from us online. We were capturing their data. It was going into a marvelous CRM system. We did nothing with it. So other than an automation to say, here's your order details, the order's been shipped, what do you think? A Trustpilot, it was awful. Like there was nothing tailored at all. There was nothing around segments. We also had this sort of big amount in our sort of sitting in our database that we were doing nothing with because of the way it had been set up. So essentially, I was absolutely sort of, I suppose, overwhelmed with the opportunity. You know, I think at 6 months in, I was like, this is embarrassing. Like we should be doing something, and we have the opportunity to do something so much more sophisticated. How do we look at what we've got, but also just make the right decisions on how to do it, because it'd been sat stagnant for so long. We've done nothing, and then to start doing something. So I think, you know, it was never within my gift to do it in-house. And I think I have worked with Vic previously in other roles, and I just thought there was nobody else I spoke to. I knew they could help. I knew they were the right agency for us because, you know, it was something we needed a lot of hand-holding on. I knew what I needed done in essence, but I also needed that injection of expertise in the team, but an expansion of our team. I don't want an agency that we sit and tell everyone what to do. I need someone to come and say, this is what you should be doing. It wasn't necessarily about the skepticism I had, it was about taking the business on the journey. So I brought Vic in to speak with our marketing director. And it was just brilliant because I think she sold it so well that it was understood there. And I think that was then the deck that I took to our CEO and sort of explained what we were going to do. And I think, you know, it was definitely about, we had a bit of hand-holding, I think, from the team to kind of get the rest of the business to buy in. And it was the easiest selling I had to our CEO ever. I just sort of went in and I said, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going after. These are the opportunities. And I think there was just some real basic opportunity about, we knew our abandoned cart was so high and we didn't have a journey behind it. So even saying, if we can, you know, get 10% of those people that are abandoning cart to purchase, this is the revenue. And I think from a very commercial business, being able to say, this is the number we've got, this is what we're going after, and this is what it would deliver. And then when you look at that in terms of sort of, you know, what we'd pay for the support, it literally sort of, you know, what we deliver definitely outshone what we'd pay out. So I think it was really helpful working with Vic to kind of, I suppose, get to those metrics to be able to say, this is what we're going to do. And for every pound we spend, we're going to do this, that, or the other. The fact we hadn't spoken to the 1 million people we had in probably over 2-3 years, it was, you know, going through the process of re-engaging them. And it was just about getting a clean core database, building in the right foundations, and then what can we do with it? And I think that was the really exciting thing, is that the opportunity on what we could do and being able to then go back and just say, these are all the things we've done and this is what it's delivered. So completely commercializing that database, but not at the detriment of our customers, so that we're making sure that they get the best experience and we're tailoring the proposition to them, and, you know, listening to what they're doing and sort of reacting from it. So continue, rather than just doing, well, we want to make money out of the database, how can we make it work for our customers as well, but obviously with the commercial mindset behind it. I thought we had 290,000 people on our database, and when we gave access and the discovery work was done, we found out there was 1.2 million. So I mean, it was a complete win for us, but something we were completely unaware of. We rolled very quickly into Valentine's campaign, which is our biggest campaign window of the year, and it's where we make the majority of our sales for the whole year. And that was just phenomenal in terms of sort of, I suppose, firstly, the support we got from the team around, this is really big for us and we really need to go hard. How can we do that without sort of, I suppose, saturating through emails? And they developed a really great, you know, test and learn plan with multiple iterations, and it drove us ridiculous amounts of revenue, more than we'd ever done before. And it was so nice in the, you know, the wrap campaign for that report to say, this is what email drove us. It drove us more than it did, you know, paid social, drove us more than Google. You know, organic search we do quite well on, so it was never going to beat that, but it was up there in terms of what it drove for us. And it was, you know, our most successful Valentine's campaign within 3 years. One of the things we definitely saw was the pre-order campaign, where we kind of, and how it was sort of built in the background in terms of people that purchased last year, the people that most purchased from us, and sort of targeting those groups definitely drove huge pre-orders, which operationally had a benefit, because as much as everything's around getting to the customers and creating orders, we still have a online bakery team that have to produce these orders every day, and it's a lot. It is a real, and it's a manual process because they're all baked fresh on the morning, they're hand iced, we don't have icing machines. It's a lot. So I think, as a bigger piece, that definitely really helped. And I think, as I said, the revenue value off the back of that was insane. We do know more about them than we ever did. So we know, what time of day they're purchasing. So therefore we can tailor, I suppose, what time we potentially send emails out. And you can see, in real time when we sit in the back end of our website, an email goes out and the sales come in. But I think having that understanding of the groups, potentially how I suppose they absorb the information, how they react on it, is just invaluable. And I think it's building out this bigger piece for us in terms of these customers are worth X to us. Actually, from a bigger piece, how do we go and acquire more of those customers, because they're the high value, but never sort of, I suppose, undervaluing the ones that come for us for a birthday treat, or somebody that's looking for something else other than cake. So, and how do we get more of those? So I suppose it's sort of really helped us understand our customers, but then also know what their lifetime value is for us. Each week I sort of sit in a trade meeting and I'm saying, email delivered us this. This is what Abandoned Cart's doing. This is the journey we're going after. Without anything else, there's this sort of regular drumbeat of the conversation, but also the revenue coming in off the back of it, which I just think is brilliant. And I think I'm sitting up in front of our SLT next week to kind of talk about digital and what we're doing with it and what it drives, because it is now being seen as a really important element of, I suppose, our marketing stack. The team continually look at how they can make things better. So it's not, Valentine's work, we're going to replicate that, because every campaign has a nuance in terms of, I suppose, who it's for, who we're targeting, and they've just got a great mindset of, right, well, that worked, but why don't we do this? So it's an absolute dream working with them, because we sort of send out a brief saying, this is what we're doing. We have, bi-weekly calls, and they come to us with ideas, and it absolutely is invaluable at making our lives easier and driving us sales at the end of the day. So often than not that, you can work with agencies and you kind of get, all the big guns come in, they sell you a big story and sort of what they can do. And it's sort of slightly disappointing at the end of it. And I can say that has never been the case here. And I think everybody I've ever worked with in DataHawks is an absolute dream. I come off the calls buzzing about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And, ultimately the bottom line, they deliver it. What we're seeing in a return in CRM investment is way higher at the minute than what we're seeing in terms of, paid advertising, Google advertising. Social meta advertising still does really well, but it just really helps kind of, I suppose, that bigger picture as well, in terms of where do we get the most benefit. The impact has been huge. I think from the fact that we did nothing, it was really sporadic. From a customer point of view, it couldn't have looked good that we'd just kind of go, oh, it's Valentine's, let's send out an email, it's Mother's Day. We did none of that brand building stuff. We did none of that sort of really good stuff. So I think just from looking at it from a customer point of view, it feels like we are doing the right thing, and that feels good, because ultimately we all work for commercial businesses and it is about making the money, but it is also about making sure that we're doing the right thing by our customers and having them at the heart of our decision. It does then allow me to go into meetings and say, well, no, I would like this amount of money because it's going to deliver me this. And sort of having those now where we've kind of got a really good set of sort of data in terms of what these campaigns deliver for us, it does definitely make the conversations we're having a lot easier. When we're looking into next year, it's not even going to be a question whether or not we do this. Like, we've paid back essentially our investment over the year already. So it's brilliant like that. But I think it definitely, it makes my life a whole lot easier. Being able to say, we sent this one email and it did deliver us this amount of revenue, I think is really impactful. And it just kind of goes to show, I suppose, the value of it, but also that, we kind of understanding our customers, we're understanding what they're doing, and behind all of that, we're developing products that suit the segments, we're kind of targeting them right, we're sort of, we're working on the customer journey throughout the website. So all of it is aligning. helpful from a business point of view, collaborative, and hugely enjoyable. I appreciate that last one is 2 words.